Gravity Falls Season 2, Episode 3, The Gulf War, aka The Return of the Plastic. I know, I shouldn't call her that. Her name is Pacifica Northwest. I know what her name is. And this is the episode that a lot of you guys assured me was coming, where she starts becoming a more sympathetic character, and I really appreciated that about this episode. Anyway, Mabel's chance to show up in the town newspaper is usurped by Pacifica, who I would imagine managed to get her article in the paper instead because she's so rich. She's feeling down because of this, and to cheer her up, Dipper and Stan decide to take her to mini-golf. Mabel has always been really good at it, and she really enjoys it. She plays a very impressive game, almost beating her own record. But then Pacifica shows up there, and shows her up there as well. It turns out Pacifica is actually a professionally trained miniature golfer, because I guess that's a thing now. But it doesn't really matter. Pacifica has shown her up again, but Mabel's not standing for it this time. She wants a genuine match against Pacifica where she can prove once and for all that she's better than this girl at something. So Pacifica suggests that they have a match at midnight at the same miniature golf course. Mabel agrees, and she and Dipper show up a little bit early to practice on the one hole that Mabel had a problem with. There they discover little, I can't remember what they were called, so I'm going to call them golf ball people that live inside of the miniature golf holes, the themed parts of the holes. And at Dipper's suggestion, Mabel convinces them to help her defeat Pacifica, for reasons that I'll talk about in a minute. However, the golf ball people turn on Mabel by kidnapping Pacifica with the intention of killing her. So Mabel and Pacifica must team up and use their combined putt-putt skills to defeat the golf ball people. Really wish I remember what they were called, because that just sounds so stupid. And by the end, you can see that a little bit of a rapport has been built between the two of them. And you also get a glimmer that while Pacifica has a lot, she has a lot of advantages, there are also things in life that she's missed out on because of the way her parents are, and I'll talk about that in a minute too. Overall, this extra characterization for Pacifica was by far the best part of this episode. I also really liked how supportive Stan and Dipper were of Mabel. That was great, and the opening, the teaser before the opening credits, was probably one of the best written scenes between the Pines family characters that I've seen in this show so far. That was all really great. There was also some really adorable Mabelness in this episode. But taking Pacifica, who is a very one-dimensional character, or at least was up to this point, and making her more than that, making her something sympathetic, was really great and fairly well handled. And yeah, I said fairly well, because I do have some problems with this episode. First of all, the episode calls itself out on how Pacifica, up to this point, has been a one-dimensional Valley Girl stereotype, and then one of the ways that the narrative tries to flesh her out is by giving her very overbearing parents who expect her to succeed in all things, which is also kind of a stereotype. And maybe it was just the writers saying, oh hey, we can take this stereotypical character and make them something more, in which case, fine. I would have liked to have seen something more original. Which brings me to the other thing that I'd like to talk about here, and that's that I really hated the little golf ball people. You could probably tell because I didn't bother to even look up what they're called. I just thought they were dumb. They looked dumb. The moment that I saw that they looked like golf balls, I knew 100% that they were going to turn out to be some kind of threat, and Mabel and Pacifica were going to have to team up to defeat them. I knew it. There was no surprise in that for me, because it was just so obvious. I did find their motivations kind of interesting. They agreed to help Mabel, again, at Dipper's suggestion, which I could see him actually doing this. It wasn't out of character. I thought it was at first, but no, the more I think about it, I could see this being a thing that he would do to ensure Mabel's victory. At Dipper's suggestion, they are convinced to help Mabel to cheat against Pacifica, because they all live in these communities, these themed communities themed after the theme of their hole. Like, you have these Swedish-themed guys who live in the windmill hole, and pirate-themed guys who live in the pirate ship hole, and miner-themed guys who live in a hole themed after a mine. And just like Mabel and Pacifica, they have a rivalry going on. They, in some way, control the hole as it passes through their section of the course. And they have this kind of ongoing competition over which community is best at doing their job. And Mabel agrees to judge which of them is best at the end of the competition if they help her. Which, I get that Dipper suggested that she cheat, but I can't see Mabel being someone who would agree to that, first of all. But more so, I didn't like this aspect of the episode. It doesn't make sense that these things would exist in these miniature golf holes and no one would know about them. The holes themselves were constructed to accommodate these things. I just didn't feel that that aspect of it fit with these things being one of these secret supernatural elements of the town. It seems almost like someone would have had to have put them there, and that's just stupid. And I get that there was like a thematic similarity between all of them coming together to turn on Mabel and Pacifica at the end, and Mabel and Pacifica kind of coming together and overcoming their rivalry. But overlooking that this episode paints rivalry as an inherently negative thing, when it's not. focusing so much attention on the rivalry between these really uninteresting creatures detracted from us getting to see the development of Pacifica's character and the development of her relationship with Mabel. This is quite literally the first time that I feel the supernatural element in this episode detracted from the episode overall. And the supernatural element wasn't even interesting here. When it came right down to it, as much as I didn't like the golf ball guys, this episode ended up feeling like kind of half an episode to me because they took up so much of the screen time. It wasn't a bad episode. I still liked a lot of the things about it, like I said. The development of Pacifica's character here, Pacifica is a really hard word to say, by the way. The development of her character here was great. I loved it. I just wish that we had gotten it in a more solid episode overall. And that's why I really hope that it continues in other episodes later on. As per usual, though, I'd like to ask if you have seen this episode, what did you think of it? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below. Either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys